With BMTV, the future's bright and strong.
Hi BMTV lovers, we welcome you to another exciting program at BMTV Nsukka. Today we are going to be talking about Nsukka one-nation and mode of politics. How profitable or beneficial has it been so far? And when we talk about one-nation, it has to do with brotherhood, siblings love, the kind of solidarity you pay to someone because you feel that this person is related to you, how you cooperate. Now bringing it into politics, we want to talk about how Nsukka people root for other Nsukka people. Like, let's say an Nsukka man is vying for a governorship, how do we support that person? So these things are what we're going to, and after supporting an Nsukka man or anybody from Nsukka, whether a man or a woman, any person from Nsukka, to go into political, let's say the person is vying for a political post, and after we have given the person the support and the person wins, how does the person treat the people who rooted for him or her? All these things are what we are going to talk about today, and we want to know if so far one-nation has brought development in Nsukka or it has not brought development. And we have this important guest with us today who is by name Ugwuanyi Ikenna, aka Ambassador. Ambassador, we welcome you to BMTV Nsukka today. You are highly welcome, sir.
You're highly welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, so we'll go ahead to discuss this topic, and please stay tuned because we promise that this is going to be very interesting. Ambassador here is someone who is grounded in topics like this, and he's going to detail everything. So we'll go ahead to ask you, sir. How do you think that Nsukka one-nation has impacted in, developing Nsukka when it comes to one-nation in politics? Has it impacted positively or negatively so far?
All right. Dubai, Jane. And also to the viewing public, want to say thank you. I remember myself Ugwuanyi Ikenna, popularly called Ambassador. Now, before I answer the question, I would want to say a very big thank you to BMTV. You guys are doing very well. We in the media sphere, we know that whosoever controls the media and sets a narrative controls the people. Before I talk about how one-nation has, affected politics and development in our zone as Nsukka, we would want to understand a little bit about that concept called one-nation. And rightly from the introduction by my very beautiful sister, she has talked about brotherhood. So, I would just say a yes, a no, and a little, and wait for your questions so that I can elaborate. One-nation, yes and no. It has helped us, and also it hasn't helped us, because most times we've not gotten to the full grasp of brotherhood, one koi, and that's the dynamics when it comes to politics. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So you said it has helped us, it has not helped us. All right. Now, talking about helping us, we want to know if there is any example you can share based on how one-nation has helped us in terms of developing Nsukka.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, in terms of developing Nsukka, one-nation of a truth has really helped us a very, 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 very big. Now, let me say this. I was born in Lagos, and I know how majority of those people from Enugu, Obolo, what they do is that whenever they get to Lagos, you can see like 10 persons they will just say these people are from Nsukka in a particular flat or a room. How did they get to that place? It's because one Nsukka person saw that something is moving. Or Lata village, Guama, somebody from Nsukka zone, and they all now came to Lagos. Now, for me, that is the first step to development. And most of these persons, having done trade, business, work in Lagos, some of them are now coming back to our climb to put up some structures. Now, not just those that left the shores of Nsukka zone, but there are some also that grew in this climb, Nsukka, saw the light, brought in their friends, and things are moving. I will give two names because they are close to me, then I'll allow for further question. Now, there is a place called City Park, and there is a guy called Ben Tossin. Ben Tossin is an integrated shipping line. And there's also another brand called Buffalo. These are Nsukka. And because they did not just go out, they incorporated their brothers, and development is here. As I speak today, we all know that Nsukka is the second largest urban area in Enugu State. When you talk about Enugu, you talk about Nsukka. And today, we are proud because of that Nsukka. And as I speak now, we have Nsukka brothers that call themselves together for development of our zone. They're almost rounding off a development program with the Chinese in China as we speak. Okay. So one nation has helped us.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Okay, streamlining it down to politics. When I was doing introduction, I said something about, for instance, Nsukka people gathered together and said we're going to give solidarity support to this particular person. We want this person to win this position. Now, take for instance the person wins, and then when the person assumes office, what is the person's relationship with fellow Nsukka people, those who elected him? How do you think the relationship so far with people in politics, people into political positions, how do they relate with people outside those positions, those ones who voted them in?
Okay, so I will speak in two ways. One, as someone that is active or involved in the political sphere, though, and also from the feelers of the people. The way politics is not just in Nsukka zone, but let's deal with Nsukka zone. The truth is, so many persons are not well versed and schooled in what it means to lead and serve the people. The late Miles Moreau once said that when purpose is not known, abuse becomes inevitable. Like we're talking about leadership. How has the elected people now see to those that elected them? So like I said I was going to come in two angles. One, as a player, and secondly, as non-partisan players. One of the good things about leadership is this. Most people are not prepared and schooled about leadership. That is why you see most of the things they want is election is number. If I can use the poverty that's been weaponized, the people will vote for me, either out of sentiment or emotions. Then when you now go into that position, you now see the position as the Lord of the Ring. That is one mindset. Why the other mindset is he that goes into that position knowing that I want to use power to change our people, comes with the mindset of service. He that must lead must be the servant. But how many persons from our zone have we seen that have the concept of servant leadership? I know that when road is being constructed, people are happy. But the truth is, these things are the responsibilities of the elected officers. Now, ka onye nọ na nkwe bagwa, onye nọ na Idiopi, Egichi, and Agụ Ibeji, n'Enugu Ezike, how do they get this dividend of democracy as a result of electing somebody? That is where we're coming into. I wouldn't want to mention names so that it will not look as if one is being partisan or taking sides. But I would also say something. When we did the program for Okpa, we had House of Reps member that supported the event, even when I was seemingly seen as somebody from the opposition party. But one nation had to override. So, for instance, if you win an election, yes, in the election period, it is a game. I need you to vote for me. But immediately you vote for me and I assume that office, I am no longer the senator representing the people of PDP, Labour Party, APC. I am now the senator representing the people of Enugu North Senatorial Zone. What does that mean? I am no longer seen as a party person, but I'm supposed to be seen as somebody representing a particular people. If I have 50 million bags of rice or whatsoever to empower, it should no longer be just about my party. It should not be about the people. Have you asked yourself, when things are given to people to share to the poorest of the poor, sometimes they go and party hijacks the thing. But some persons are saying, no, let us go down to the people that it is meant for. If there's a tricycle for federal constituency empowerment or whatsoever, it shouldn't be about your party. It should not be about the generality and totality of the people. You mustn't support me to get the aid if you meet such requirements. So sometimes our people wants to lord it over the same people that gave him or her the mandate. So like I said, if you are a leader and you understand that leadership, politics is a call to service, you will not know why it is no longer about the party. Because the truth is, we've seen, whether you like it or not, politics is a game. Nobody is a saint. It is like war. Nobody says the truth. When I say nobody says the truth, it's like they don't tell you the way it is. But that is what it ought to be. Once my sister is elected, she should also remember me, not minding the fact that I don't support her. So that's what I see.
Okay. Unity is a benefit of brotherhood. You cannot be united when you are not seeing your fellow brother as your brother. I want to ask, has the Nwaneship actually promoted unity? And has Nwaneship actually helped us to form a common interest as Nsukka?
All right. I would say this. Nwaneship is awesome. It's about brotherhood. It's about identity.
Yes.
How do I mean? You go to the streets of London or maybe somewhere in Petersburg, and all of a sudden you just hear somebody making another call to somebody and now says, Okparam Imaga. Even if the person is not talking to you, but for the fact that you've heard something that strikes and speaks of your identity,
The emotion.
naturally it comes. You will just wait for the person to be done.
Yes.
And when the person is done, the next thing you ask is that, please, I'm sorry, are you from Nsukka? The person will say yes. You tell me too, I'm from Nsukka. Naturally, that bond comes in. Now, but what politics does is this. The truth is, let's start seeing political actors as game. One has to win. Another has to lose.
Yes.
But at the end of that stuff, there should be that collective interest, knowing that firstly, Nsukka first before we became PDP, APC, Labour Party, ADA.
Yes.
And also, unity, like you said, yes, unity is the bond of Nwaneship. But we should also know that what spices unity is diversity. So, when we learn to embrace diversity in unity, would make us to strive. How do I mean? We have seen where two brothers from different parties, one is a House of Reps member, the other is a minister of the Federal Republic. We have seen somewhere in Igbeze South, Onado, where a brother is contesting APC as the deputy governor in another party, while the younger brother is contesting for House of Assembly in Labour Party. The same mother, the same father. One did not win. One won. Political calculation will say that one of them should step down so that the votes of Onado will not be divided. But that's where diversity in unity comes. If we all think straight, that means we're all morons.
Yes.
Until we start seeing politics as a game for development other than enrichment, we'll start fighting. One of the key things we should note and ask ourselves in Nsukka zone, do we have an agenda as in Nsukka?
Do we?
That is why I'm posing the question, so that if somebody asks me that question here,
Because I was about to ask,
Really, do we have an agenda?
do we have an agenda as Nsukka?
Do we
What
have
is
an
our
agenda?
common interest, our common agenda? What are we pursuing? What has that spirit of Nwaneship helped us to pursue as an agenda that this will uplift Nsukka? Do we have it?
in 2023, we used to know that he came a harmful axis were all under Obolo and Udenu side. But somehow, somewhere, it was now taken to Enugu East Senatorial District. But we still see them as a cultural zone. And that is what I was trying to explain to us. Let's be factual and see things the way they are in politics. Because, like I said, politics is a game of interest.
Personal.
Firstly, it masquerades itself as an interest for all.
Yes.
But it is a selfish interest.
Good.
Notwithstanding that even Adolf Hitler, as brutal as he was, still had loyalists and people that loved him.
Yes.
So there are places that personal interest will still help others that have personal interest in the interest of the person that is the arrowhead. So where personal interest meets personal interest, a particular set of people tends to enjoy it. But if we now know that there is something about Nsukka first, no matter who wins and who loses, we are still in the Nsukka. Isuzo has never been in Enugu North, despite the fact that we share the same cultural affinity. Ndị Nsukka, majority of Nsukka people gave their all because they felt like it is an Nsukka. The way they say it now is an Nsukka something for Ndị Nsukka.
Thereby making it look like Edoga winning was like an Nsukka agenda.
Yes, and the narrative most people pushed from Nsukka zone was the narrative of this person is our own. Let me tell you how that narrative came to play.
Okay.
When Edoga was in PDP, people from PDP said Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi wants to give it to his cousin. You see where the narrative started from.
Yes.
Whether it is true or not, those people are now seeing it as his cousin, but same in PDP. So immediately he left PDP. The people now used it against a people, saying that you want to now give it back to an Nsukka man. So, in striking the balance between one nation, we should know the rule of the game. I can contest an election with my brother. It is an election. We have an interest. We have different things we want to achieve. He wins or I win. We are still brothers.
I want to ask you a question. Like now, what's are the challenges you feel that this thing, like the challenging one nation is facing in politics? And what do you think is the way forward?
Okay. This question, I will start from whenever the nation is wrong, it starts from a particular cell, which is the family. If you are not taught the principle of love, of unity, of togetherness, it will be very difficult for you to come to the larger society to still replicate such. Now, when you see somebody that naturally is aggressive or doesn't love, shows that either from the upbringing, there has been that system of not loving adequately. For instance, if ladies have broken your heart severally, or maybe they've done something to you, it now builds a formation and a pattern. Before you know, naturally, you don't like ladies. You don't think they are worth it. Your mindset just come to, oh, what they are good at is just for the other room. All you want is just somebody you can have and let go. To the question you asked. Once we get it right from the particular unit, then it can transcend to other places.
What you are trying to say now is he asked of the challenges Nwaneship is facing politically in Nsukka zone. And you are trying to explain that for the fact that some persons lack love from their family, they bring it out to the public, and even in politics, they don't unite with each other. Is that what you're trying to say?
That is just the essence of everything. Nwaneship in politics is very, very dicey. So it comes with a higher level of understanding of brotherhood.
Yes.
That is why it is very easy for you to come out and say you want to go for senatorial election. You come out, you want to go for House of Reps. Yes, or they make you a minister or a commissioner. But you see this thing called local government and councillorship. That's the most difficult. Because you're not fighting against another local government. You're not battling against another town. But now you're battling against your own people. Imagine I'm from Ovoko. If there's a councillorship, there's no councillorship coming from Agui-Ibeji or Obimo. It is Ovoko.
That's it.
Eh?
I'll keep the very good to people.
I'm going to quit the
I'm going to tell the good. Because it is that place you look at. Now. Village. You now start looking at the mocking nature of politics. Because it is in politics that somebody will tell you how your mom was born. And at the end of the day, I say, again, one day,
Tell you how you treat your family and the rest of them.
Anyways, slightly, because I think we are gradually rounding off the program, slightly away from politics.
Yeah.
You have been an ambassador and known with the brand Opa, Opa Carnival, and you have organized carnivals, some festivals, or how do I put it?
Hangouts and carnivals.
Yes, for Opa.
Opa Nsukka.
In order to promote that a unifying factor. Opa sounds like is like a unifying factor to Nsukka. Opa nenkocha mbenefi jeleneji maranda bang. So I want to ask, the Opa both hangout and the carnival, what were you trying to achieve with using Opa to bring the band together? What was the aim?
Okay, the aim of that program, which was just the hangout, is just for the unification of our people. Yes. That is why in one of the projects we did, I seen a Njigbe Koi, that's togetherness is better. What I wanted to achieve with that program was just so simple. I felt like some of us will just have the privilege of knowing privileged people.
Yes.
And also knowing those from the grassroots. Then so many persons will call, jam, the school fees and all those things. We started with helping people. So at a point, and I felt like, what should be done so that if we sit down on that table of that stuff, I can look at big men and say, Bikon, we have students, can you help them? Because they're eating up and they're happy, identification, they want to help. That was how the first hangout came up. Then, secondly, and I looked at, there's nothing that unifies a people like culture.
Yes.
Having been in Lagos, while I was working, my line manager will always ask me, you will remember, Ugwuanyi. He will say, Ogbeni Bao. I'll say, Ogame Mowakbao. You will not say, He remembered his days at Eni Joko. He will not tell me, UNN is my home. Okpa cook, water. That when you eat okpa and cook, it will take you to. So any small thing he will look at, say, once he sees me, he remembers okpa. Because to them, it sounds more like an identity. And for me, I felt like, can we use this thing to bring people together? Because culture brings people together. And one of the most important aspects of culture is food. Whosoever you can eat with is a general language of communication, of love, unity.
Yes.
Have you asked yourself, why do they poison food? Because they want to break that cord of one-nation. If I can eat with you, then I've expressed the highest level of love to you. So, food communicates better. And over time, as we kept on doing this, and we kept on seeing that people are embracing and coming, and we now said, it is high time. We started rebranding this thing called Okpa. It would be nice that we sit down and see people the same way people plan from Nigeria and go to Rio de Janeiro for samba in Brazil for a cultural event. The same way we want to sit down and see people, call them that Nsukka has united, that we are Nsukka cultural whatsoever, the way they do in Calabar Carnival.
Yes.
And you see people coming from Istanbul, see people coming from Germany, see people coming from Florida just to come and watch the entertaining aspect of Uriokpa Nsukka. For people to come and look at what does Okpoche means and why is it so significant on the Enugu Ezike? Why do they say in quarter of our side is sweet? The same way people go to Abu Dhabi, they should come to Nsukka. And that is what we looked at, to start to package what we have as a symbol of peace and unity to give to the global scene.
So are we expecting a bigger project of Okpa Carnival or Carnival, let's say a bigger way of the Carnival?
Yes.
Are we expecting that?
Yes.
Okay.
We're expecting it.
Okay. And our people are embracing it and they are supporting it.
From what we're doing in BMTV today, we are still advocating and pushing it. Someday, they will accept it. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yes.
So let me just...
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Don't give up in your quest to unite our people with Okpa. Because what we preach is that in any way one can unite under Nsukka for us to have a united interest. Because I believe that it is unity that brings development.
Yeah.
Without unity, development and progress is always difficult to achieve. So continue pushing. We, where we are, will continue to support in our own little ways that we can support. And we hope and pray that our people will embrace it. And in no distant time, or part two, will become, the carnival will become a very big way, in a bigger way that people can come to Nsukka to come and witness our culture, our tradition, and the entertainment aspect of it.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ikenna. I would like to take you back to the topic and for you to give a summary of the whole thing. So our topic so far has been Nsukka One Nation, and mode of politics. How beneficial has it been so far? So we'd like you to give a summary and what the viewers will take home as per what they learned from this whole thing today.
All right, thank you so very much, the BMTV crew. In summation, all I want to say to our people, not just in the political sphere, is that let's always think Nsukka as a zone first. How do I mean? You go into politics, think about the dividends of democracy that you bring back to your people. So that is all I want to say. Asena akuluo uno amaonye batalia. So gather the spoils in politics, gather the spoils in ICT, gather the spoils in medical field, gather them home and abroad, then come back to the zone and do things. Look at the Mirage Hotel, Martin Mirage Hotel, Atikma Market. Look at City Park. Look at Buffalo and Bay. Look at Mamonye Landmark.
Jerry
Look at
Marriott's
Joy Restaurant. Look at Jerry Marriott. Look at waterfalls everywhere. Landmark had a lease for Nike Lake. Who told you that Adada River cannot be converted to a tourist center? Watch out for the great thing that is coming to this zone. What does Dubai have? Just tourism. Akuluono.
Thank you so much.
God bless you, my brother.
Well, we want to really appreciate our viewers who have been watching us so far. We'll say thank you, and we would like you to always do this thing for us. Make sure you like, you comment, and share our videos so that other people can get to see what we are doing here. And if you are a new viewer, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel at BMTV Nsukka. Also follow us on Facebook at BMTV Nsukka. Thank you so much.
Songs with BMTV, the future's bright and strong.